Today's video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at all the weapons currently within Warzone. I'm going to be ranking them with the chat. As you can see, this is a live video, so below my webcam, you'll be able to see the chat spam as we do this live. If you'd like to see more of this type of content, make sure you hit the like button. If you want to find your way back, double check, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Let's go ahead and get into it. So chat already kind of knows what we're going to do is be breaking these things down into meta, top tier, viable, mid tier, or don't use. Obviously in the don't use category, there's probably going to be some niche loadouts where it might be like a riot shield, and it's not something I would necessarily recommend. But if you want to play a specific play style, that might be the way to go. Same thing with the Strela. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but if you want to fit a specific play style, we're going to be that guy who shoots all the vehicles. More power to you, because that thing can kind of act like a sniper within about 150 meters. So we'll go ahead and go through this. First thing up, AK Cold War sniper support. What do you guys think in chat? You think meta? You can just type in meta. You can spam meta. TTV, mid tier, or don't use. Meta. I think it's meta too. I mean, like, it's been meta for like a while, and really nothing's been able to contest it. It's just super easy to use, decent TTK up close. The range is good. Like, the ammo per mag, like the damage per mag is really good. The range version, I think it's also meta. What do you guys think? We'll get there. There's going to be all the weapons. We're going to kind of breeze through. Sweaty meta. You think mid tier for the range? Top tier viable. Okay, there's mostly meta and top tier viable. So we'll go with meta. I think it is definitely meta. The Farah, what do you guys think about that? I think it falls more in like the top tier viable. I think it's just outside of meta, but with the one nerf to the EM2 or the AK-47, I think it could fit right into the meta, and maybe we have like a 5-weapon meta. But yeah, TTV. Thank you all first-time chatters. Appreciate you. Instead of the lurking, even though we appreciate lurkers too. So C58, I get questions asked about this one all the time. It kills so fast. Why isn't it meta? Well, because the EM2 is meta. Immediately, if the EM2 gets nerfed, the C58 becomes more viable, depending on how they're going to do it. So TTV, I think that's the way to go. It is popping up pretty clear on the screen. But that's the biggest issue, is that the EM2 is just better. So if you're going to choose between the two, why wouldn't you just go EM2? QBZ. Again, I think this one is that the benefit is if other things get nerfed above it, it'll automatically go into the meta. But right now, I think it's a top tier viable. I think that's kind of where it's at. So pretty solid there. And top tier viable means that you're going to choose this type of weapon knowing that it is off meta, and you'll be at a disadvantage in some scenarios, but it is still very competitive. It's within a certain like tolerance of where it's still going to be able to get the job done, but everyone's a little bit different. For sure, it could be meta on Rebirth, but I really don't see it used that often. And then EM2, I think if you're a semi-decent player, the nerf to this thing actually made it easier. The EM2 is better, in my opinion, than everything right now. It is the meta, in my opinion. Don't use, obviously. Yeah, let's avoid using that. Ground loot meta. QBZ is good as a ground loot. The little one where it has the reflex sight or the iron sight 30-round mag. It's not too bad on Rebirth. AMAX. So I think AMAX is kind of falling in line where it got nerfed into the ground and then it kind of coming back up. Still not meta, but I think it's a top tier viable. And I think a lot of people would probably agree to that. Borderline mid tier. I think there's some people would say it's mid tier, but I think it fits right in the top tier viable. There's gonna be a lot of good options in the top tier viable. They're outside of meta, so you're in a better, you're gonna have a better advantage just by being within the meta, obviously. But top tier viable, these are weapons that you can kind of play around with, and no one's gonna go, man, why are they using that gun? Because there are weapons that we'll see. Maybe you get killed because you were one shot. You get third partied by some random dude in a corner, killing you with the Kilo 100-round mag, Merc foregrip, and be like, what the hell is that guy using? That's an example of that. Would be the mid-tier or don't use, where you actually go, why the hell is that guy using that? So M4A1, I think this one's more of a like a mid-tier, top-tier viable. We'll see what the chat thinks. Mid-tier. We're talking about standard in general. This is generally, like when we're kind of talking about this, is primarily for trios. because it allows you to take on multiple people. Iron Trials is very different game mode. It really comes down to damage per mag and TTK combined. So if you kind of got, it limits your options there. Top tier viable, okay. You know, this used to be my favorite weapon, especially when it was like the no stock or whatever. I think it was a lot of people's favorites. I think Grau is definitely top tier viable, and it is the like ghost meta. People grab this as their ghost meta. It's just outside. You think Grau's mid tier? I'm looking. People are saying mid tier. So maybe I do this. Mid tier to top tier viable. Maybe we throw that in there. Yeah, maybe we do it like that. I think that's a fair compromise. Yeah, M4 is really good. It kills fast. So XM4 as sniper support, I think this is a top tier viable. And then as range, I think that's meta. So top tier viable. Meta for both. Do you think I think the XM4, it just doesn't kill fast enough up close to be like the best sniper support. Because I think its up close TTK is like 666 or something. And that's not fast enough. Yeah. Fully loaded endgame ghost is meta. Yeah. So the Grau is meta for that specific scenario. Besides that, I think all the Vanguard weapons are going to take that place over because you're going to be able to have 10 attachments, and one of those attachments is going to be fully loaded. Okay, we have the Krig. I think that's still top tier viable, even after the recoil change. They made it really easy. It just goes straight vertical, and anything that's consistently vertical, you just hold down a certain amount, and then you're good. Correct. XM4 sniper support can't compete with SMGs. So you have to play it different. Can it kill well? Damage per mag's good. Mobility's good. That keeps it in the game. And that's one of the biggest advantages with the XM4. M13, I think this one's more mid-tier. Damage per mag sucks. But what do you think? Don't use M13, chat. What do you guys think? Mid-tier? Mid? Yeah, I think it's mid-tier too. I think there's a lot of people like it because the TTK is relatively okay because the recoil is so low. Cloaksy won't agree. Yeah, he's going to say it's meta, even though he's like the only dude using it. It's disgusting. If only it had an 80-round mag. If they had a 100-round mag like the Kilo, I could argue it being top-tier viable or even meta. But without, it's like, no, bro. Why are you even using that? Groza, you saying don't use? I think it's a mid-tier. I don't think it's bad. I think there's really no reason to use it. Yeah. Only if you're as good as Cloaksy, maybe use it. All right, we got FFAR. What are we thinking about FFAR? It's crazy. Sniper support's crazy. It just doesn't kill it fast enough up close. Groza is not meta. Farah is not meta? No. Farah is not. FFAR is not meta. I think it's top tier viable, especially if you use it like as the mid range, because it does kill fast. It's basically like a slow AK-47 with faster rate of fire rate. Like, I don't know. It's in there. I think it's top tier viable as a sniper support. I don't think it's good as a long range. It has too much recoil. And I think as a SMG, it's like not good enough to be I think sniper support's the right build. It's definitely good. EM2 for range. Oh, I did EM2 sniper support. Ooh. Yeah, EM2 is the sniper support meta and meta over here as well. We already discussed that. It's range. We have AS Val as an SMG. I think it's just top tier viable in solos. Good as long as you pre-aim. Yeah, you got to pre-aim every corner with the FFAR because it is very slow. Mid-tier AS Val? It's a solo only. Let's go ahead and widen this one up a little bit. Boom. TTV solos. Farah is not meta. No matter which way you look at it, side crit, it's not meta. I'm sorry, I wish it was, but it's not. Okay, Farah as a sniper support is Mid. It's way too slow up close. RAM. I think it's top tier viable. Yeah, no, you know what? EM2 is probably closer to top tier viable for sniper support. We'll go back in there, fix that. RAM. I think both of these RAMs are top tier viable. I don't think either are meta because of the mobility, the small damage per mag, and the skill difference to use it. It actually feels like it has more recoil. The RAM didn't get a nerf. It just has always done the same thing. So a lot of the MW guns don't even get touched. So we're going to say top tier viable for both. I think it actually does better as sniper support. In smaller game modes like duos and solos. Trios is a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, the mag is kind of an issue. Kilo. I'm going to say Kilo is just mid tier. It's not at that point where I'd say don't use it. We're talking about normal. Iron Trials is its own game mode. Kilo hipfire equals meta. It doesn't kill fast enough. It doesn't kill fast enough. You need 2 headshots, so it's not practical for the Farah. Is the 9mm 32 round AUG better? No. No, it's not. The 5.56 is superior. Whether you go 30 or 60, that's opinion on preference if you're going to be able to get a reload in, but I got a soft spot for the RAM. A lot of people do. They like these MW guns and they just stick with them. Scar is mid tier. If it had a bigger mag, it could be a top tier, I think. In solos, yeah, it could be top tier viable, but this is more for trios, and it would need a 45 to 50 round mag, I think, for the Scar to be like the way. Spreadsheet's going to be linked in the description of this video, as well as in the chat. Foul. I think the foul for range is just mid tier. I think it requires too much skill to be consistent, and even then, you're not consistent. AN94, I think that's still mid tier. Yeah, I think the Odin is really good. I think it's very hard to use. It's very slow. It's clunky. Sniper support, it could, but it's so unforgiving with like a 400 fire rate. It just makes it really difficult to use. So I'd say the Odin's more of a mid tier. FR, I would say it's mid tier as well. No one's hardly using it. 1,000% top tier viable. I haven't seen a single person use an Odin in a year. So it's not even, no one's using it. TTK is not everything. If it was, then other guns would definitely be able to fit it. AK-47 Modern Warfare. I think it's mid tier. I think the ammo, mobility, everything on the Cold War guns is just better. STG, I think right now it's top tier viable. It's not meta. And then we have the Grav, which is top tier viable, but not meta. Joe Woe was using it the other day. Well, Joe Woe was recording a video so he can use the weapon one time, upload it onto his channel, say it's overpowered, like 99% of content creators, and then never touch it again. That's kind of a common trend with YouTube. If you're new to YouTube, it's a common trend. Use weapon, get gameplay, upload it. That's it. That's the common trend. The foul is one shot meta. No, it's not, dog. Sorry. No, that's not shots fired. That's just a fact. That's how YouTube works. Because in reality, if we go to meta, the actual meta, so that's all you would see. You would see in your inbox EM2 OTS, EM2 OTS, EM2 OTS. And that's it. That's all you would see in your inbox. You're not going to click on it. You'll get bored. People act, no, it's not meta anymore, I don't think. I think the other weapons is just too good. Everyone's shifted. Because a lot of times the meta relies heavily on what your opponents are on most commonly using. And Bullfrog is just, it's good. It's top tier viable, as we'll get to, but it's not there yet. All right, so now let's go through the SMGs. I think the MAC-10 is still meta. What do you guys think? Yeah, there's a meta tab on the spreadsheet. Meta. Okay, so let's do meta there. A Bullfrog, we just talked about that. I think it's going to be top tier viable. It's not trash by any means. Doesn't mean, oh, why are you disrespecting my Bullfrog? No, it's none of that. It's just when I use a Bullfrog and I go against an OTS, I lose, even if I land the first shot. It's just how it works. PPSH, I think that is like a sniper support meta. I think it's an SMG. I think it's definitely a meta. Iron Trials is good too. My bullfrog. Yeah, exactly. EM2 Lapa actually are pretty good sniper support. The Lapa is good in general. PPSH is better Mac though. I think so. I think they're but people like the Mac 10. The extra 200 RPM fire rate is a big difference. They're not the same. 200 difference in fire rate. The iron sights are different. They can both be meta. Nah, it's not a water gun. Okay, Tech 9, I think this top tier viable. Damage per mag kind of sucks. OTS for sure meta. You missed the whole conversation, MX. Cold War MP5 is meta. Milano, I think it's top tier viable. As a range, yeah, it's still top tier viable. You think Tech 9's mid? Nah, with the full auto, it's not mid. So we have the Modern Warfare MP5, I think is top tier viable. Some people argue meta, the MW slaves that will never use Cold War weapons. If they ever remove the Cold War weapons, I'm done with this game. Like, or the Modern Warfare weapons. This is how people be talking in the comments. Like, bro. Get out of here. All right. So Milano as a sniper support, I think is still top tier viable. I think it just doesn't kill as fast as some of the other ones, but it does have great mobility. Milano as an SMG, still top tier viable. It's just outside. It does kill a little bit slow, but it's very easy to use. AE rounds on the Uzi, I think it's more of like, if it had more than 32 bullets, it'd probably be good. Thoughts on the Lapa? The Lapa's good. We'll talk a little bit about the Lapa right now. I think it's mid-tier. Yeah, I think it's more mid-tier as well. MP7, I think is top-tier viable. Like, some people are arguing good best sniper support. CX9. I know a lot of people love the CX9. I'm not a fan. I don't like it at all. I think it's slow. But it does kill kind of quick. Hipfire machine? Yeah, but most people don't hipfire like that. Yeah, Bison is mid. AK-74U, I think is top-tier viable. What up? 6.9 iron sights are elite. I don't like them. I don't like anything about the CX9. I used it, leveled it up, hated it. Yeah, exactly. People like repping a gun. It's like one person in chat ever used it. This is my favorite gun. This is all I use. AUG MW as a sniper support and as a SMG or whatever. We got to change the loadout a little bit, but it is top tier viable. I don't think it's meta. It's very good. We also have the Fennec, which the Fennec is good. The problem is the mag size. AUG TTV. Yeah, that's what we put. So Fennec, I think the Fennec is like top tier viable. It's not meta. Whoever said meta, you crazy. It's not even close to meta. ISO is, I think the ISO is mid. Mid tier. What do you guys think? Fennec meta. They have more. Yep. Exactly, invincible, but it's not those things, so it can't be meta. You as an AR, some people are talking about it. Yeah, it's just talk though. It's just talk. AK-74U as a long range option's okay, but the TTK is not special. And for something to be like outside the norm, it'd have to be special like we saw with the Milano. I think it's cool, it's fun, AK-74U, but you would never use it in a tournament. You would never use it with money on the line. So it's 100% not meta. Yeah, I think ISO is more of a mid-tier, yeah. P90? You think it's top tier viable? Really? That's like the AS Val too, so mid-tier. KSP thinks mid-tier. Nail gun is mid-tier. It just doesn't have enough ammo. KSP don't use? I think so too, but there's people that love that garbage. So many comments every single day. You should try the KSP, it slaps. I was like, I tried it. Guaranteed you I would slap with like 7 to 10 other guns, like without even like thinking it'd be better. As an SMG, you think don't use? Yeah, okay, we'll go don't use. Chat has convinced me. Never loadout. Nail gun. I think we're gonna go with mid tier. It doesn't have enough ammo. It does melt, but you're gonna get killed by somebody's teammates. It might be good in solos. Striker, it sucks. No, there's no open pull delay on the KSP. But it has a burst delay, which is kind of worse than an open bolt delay because it's longer than an open bolt delay and every time. Yeah, don't use. The only time I ever use a striker is when they force you to use it coming out on Rebirth. Yeah, I wouldn't use. LC10. Everyone forgot about the LC10. It's still good because it's laser accurate, but no, not top tier viable. It used to be so good. You lose every 1v1 against the meta. There's no shot. It's not even close. Oh my God. Okay. I think we're on the same line. All right, cool. So Lappa is not meta in my opinion. I think it's good though. I think it's top tier viable. People actually were thinking it's top tier viable. They said that with confidence too. My God. Yeah, Lappa's top tier viable, I think. All right, let's keep this going. We go to the forbidden section, which we don't normally talk about on the channel, but we got to talk about here, which is the shotguns. Jack 12, I think is the meta. I think it's a meta shotgun. We're going to fill those in at a different time. I'm not doing the attachments right now. I'm going to do that offline where I can log in and do that. I'm not going to be going back between the game, Warzone browser, and this. So it'll kind of go that way. So we got Gallo. I think the Gallo, it got kind of nerfed. I don't see anyone use it. I think it's still top tier viable. Apparently in Brazil, that's the only thing they use. Origin, I have not seen an Origin in months. Shotgun, yeah. Makes you move so slow. Yeah, it does. Gallo is still good. Okay, so top tier viable. Okay, Origin, I'll say it's mid tier because compared to the others, it's not crazy good. I think Street Sweeper is top tier viable. I mean, even the Jack 12 isn't like really meta. I think they're all top tier viable, but none are really meta. BOK is mid tier. The slow rate R9 is mid tier. All shotguns, don't use. Yeah, that's what we got to do. Don't use. Oh, we could do that. These are the real ones, but I'm going to go through and delete them if you want a screenshot. Yeah, we can do that. I'm not even trolling. You figure that out yourself if you want to use a shotgun. There we go. For you, chat. All right, so now we have oh man. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and go Stoner. I think the Stoner is still top tier viable, but there's really no reason to use it. Like if you're trying to be competitive, I think still top tier viable. Bruin. I know a lot of people gas up the Bruin. I've used it multiple times. It just feels like you're rolling around in mud. I think it's still top tier viable. But the problem is then you get caught with the reload. If you use the faster mag, then the recoil's all janky. Then like, I don't know. It's just so slow. It's like a 500 millisecond aim down sight. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like, you're literally like this. Now I can start firing. Like, what? It's top tier viable because it's TTK, and that's it. PKM, top tier viable, slow ass reload. RPD is pretty good. It's not meta though. Unfortunately, it's not meta. SA87. It's more mid tier. I really thought that the changes that they would do to lower the TTK or make the TTK slower would actually help. But then those things never happened. No, PKM is 100% not meta. 100%. Only the MW kids use that crap. Like, there's literally an MW community that like hate everything about Cold War. They don't want to use any of the weapons, the way they feel, the way they sound, everything. So they just stick to Modern Warfare guns regardless if the MW guns are better or not. I think MG82 is still meta. It's still broken. The RAL is good. It's top tier viable. Finn, top tier viable. It's not meta. There's no way that Finn's meta. Yeah, MG82 is definitely meta. A lot of these LMGs are meta only top tier viable because of their TTKs. If they didn't have fast TTKs, they wouldn't be even. No, the MG82 is still disgusting. Super easy to use. Yeah, MG82 just deletes people. It's not even fair. And it's so easy to use. The fire rate's crazy. M60, I'm going to say that's mid-tier. MG34, that one's disgusting, but again, mid-tier. Holger, mid-tier. And M91, I would say don't use. Like, it's bad. M60, yeah, M60 and just don't use. These guns are bad. Fin is not meta. Maybe in MW it's meta because you don't have a lot of options, but in Warzone it's not meta. Sorry. Despite what top popular titles are telling you. Don't use. I don't know. We don't use those things around here, Master. What do you propose they do to make LMGs more like viable? They are viable. All of these were viable, except for the M60, M91. They just fire too slow. These ones are all slow, but they're all viable because their TTKs melt. So if you get in a 1v1 where you're already aimed down sight, the LMG typically is going to win. Okay, then we got the DMR. We got the short range sniper support. I think this is top tier viable. Personally, it's still broken. They didn't touch it. Everyone just forgot about it because they're tired of the trigger spam. They just don't like doing it. I think the long range one, mid tier or don't even use. What do you guys think for the long range DMR? Yes, exactly. People are actually defending weapons. Mid tier? Yeah, I think it's mid tier. Don't use one of those. M16. So many people, you need to try this loadout, man. Like, I promise you, this thing is the new meta. Everyone's sleeping on it. I literally get messages about the M16, the Carve, and the AUG at least a couple times a week. It's sleeping. You're sleeping on it, bro. It's like, no, I'm not. You're just in the clouds. I want your lobbies. Yeah, the TikTokers be wild with that stuff. My God, I got like this kill. Look, I didn't even have to break plates because they don't have any. Like, Carve, mid, it's just hard to use. They're not even worth using. I don't think any of these are worth using. AUG, maybe even mid tier. They're not even top tier, like, at all. Type 63. Not it. Well, the Type 63 got the buff, right? As a range. Oh, we need the SMG version. That's what it was. Yeah, because they changed the Type 63. So no, the DMR, I was having these mixed up. This is mid-tier. I don't even think you should use it as a sniper support anymore. The Type 63 is the one that has the benefit. Everything is meta if you have hacks. Yeah, there's a lot of those closet cheaters that like, everyone's cheating, so I have to use cheats. No, you just suck. And you getting cheats validates that you suck, but it's all good. All right, so range, I would say this is also mid-tier. And then this is the one that I thought was top tier viable. And then we have the M1 Grand, which right now is not really usable in either one of those ones. I would say it's mid-tier, but once we can actually create loadouts, it'll be top tier viable. And then obviously this ones are super easy. Meta. And no one can argue these. And then everything else, top tier viable, 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 top tier viable. SKS, mid-tier. Don't use. M82, mid-tier. EBR, don't use. I'm blazing three of these ones. Rytech, mid-tier. It's not even worth using. Carbine, do not use. Crossbow, do not use. Crossbow, do not use. Dragonov, do not use. That was a speed round. AX is the same. Bullet velocity is good. It hits one headshot. It's not slow. It's basically like an HDR. Like, it was meta for the longest and nothing changed with it. It's just still top tier viable. It's not special and it's not anything. It's as good as all of these other options. It's nothing crazy. I think M19s are just top tier viable. AMP is meta for SMG like Ghost. I think Psychovs are meta. And I also think Diamatis are meta. Like, any of those three are good. Renetti's top tier viable. X16 mid tier. Magnums don't use. 1911s mid tier. Magnum don't use. Deagle don't use. Marshalls don't use. Yeah. With the one mag, yeah, you can kill a bunch of people. I think we burned through a lot of those. Then we got these, which meta. And then don't use. Don't use, don't use, don't use, don't use, don't use, don't use. Nobody uses anything else, so it doesn't matter. Thumper, don't use. We're burning through these. Pila, don't use. Sigma. Sigma's good because it locks on, so it's top tier viable. Joker is top tier viable. RPG is meta. And what we have, RPG, meta. And then Strela is meta. Right? All right, is that everything? The size should be top tier viable? I don't think so. I think the sticks are just broken. There's nothing else to use. We should add those in there, but it is what it is. So that's the list. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, please do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, double check, make sure you subscribe. If you'd like to participate in one of these, go ahead and click the link near the top of the description. It's just my Twitch link. You can go ahead and follow over there. You can see when I go live. Appreciate all the support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.